Here we go again, boys and girls, with another annual Sharks preview with the one and only Brodie Brazil. Hey now, one and all, it's time for another San Jose Sharks season preview with the one, the only, Brodie Brazil. See, I can't do it. I don't have the, what is it? The soundboard with me right now. We still got to lock that in.
The echo effect.
Whoa, that was weird.
Can you hear my soundboard, by the way?
No, I can't.
Oh, man, I just played a wah, 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 wah. I'll have to see if I can get that going.
No, the really weird thing is that for some reason, whoa.
I saw it. I didn't pop up there.
Dude,
is that me am I in the middle right there?
Yeah. I guess that's you. But Ian has Brodie under his name. This is really weird. Everything was like totally set up, and then I hit play. And
Ian, that's how my hair used to look right there. You remember that?
Yes.
This is better with me off camera. You guys are going to get more of an audience.
Oh my God, I don't understand what happened.
This happens. Like I use OBS to do shows when I'm hosting them, and I've had like stuff happen to me where I hit play and then everything just goes to hell. And either my mic's muted or something, and yeah.
This is so bizarre because I have it set up as a 3-shot, and then everything went to shit.
Wow. You can say that on your stream?
I can.
You should hear the things I say on the stream.
Oh my Lord!
Can you hear my soundboard? No.
Still
no.
Oh. Okay, so everybody, Brodie,
gonna try this again?
Yeah, Brodie. No. Fuck it. We just keep rolling. So you figure out the stream. I'll try to figure out the 3-shot. I don't understand. It worked literally 2 minutes ago.
We were looking at it a second ago.
You were literally staring at it, and then everything went to hell.
That's what happens.
This is crazy. I keep playing sound effects. I know you guys aren't hearing them.
No.
Unfortunate.
No. Okay, so everybody take this opportunity to subscribe.
It's the worst time to play a promo. Trust me. I've been there before.
Dude,
I feel guilty even suggesting it at this point.
Let me tell you from the good book of YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell and all of that.
Oh my God, this is so. How the hell? I literally spent this morning just going over all of this. Yeah, see, everything is just all over the place. I don't get it.
I love it.
Everything was working just chef's kiss.
Well, tell me why Ryan Merkley is on that thumbnail right there. That was a chirp at me, right? Because he's number 6, and the way he's looking at the camera, like, yep, I got that. You don't.
All right, I'll give you that.
Is that what that is?
No, not even close.
Why'd you choose Merkley out of all the players?
Because it was just a great shot. Because honestly, it's because that's the guy I am hoping is the dark horse for this season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There's a couple of those guys in that category.
Yeah.
I don't want to start getting into my really good conversation points though here until I'm on camera. You know, like come on.
Oh my God. Well,
doesn't the hockey jerk do this? Doesn't he chime in off camera? You know, can I just be hockey jerk Brazil? Can I do that?
I can try. Is it Ian Blogs Hockey or Ian Blogs Sharks?
Hockey.
That's what I thought.
You don't even know that?
What you have to understand that Ian has like changed his shit. I don't know how many times.
Twice. Once.
Oh. Well, it felt like more than that.
No, once. It was Ian Blog Sharks before, but then I was writing for a site where I was doing a lot of just NHL stuff, and I thought, well, that's not appropriate. Hockey would make more sense for that period, and then I just never changed it again.
I got to be honest. I kind of like this. I think this is really funny that Brodie is like the voice in the background.
I rarely ever ask this question, but are we on the air?
Yeah. We are.
I'm kidding. I
know. You know what? To hell with it. Let's have some fun. Ian, we're going to block you out. We're going to bring in the
fine.
Bro Dog.
Yeah. What? Why would you? Wait a second.
Because Ian's always here. You're kind of the get, Brodie.
Oh,
That's true.
Sad state of this this live stream. All right. Well, since I'm here, now I can see
Oh,
myself.
okay. Now we can crack them open. What do you got there? Hold on, before you crack.
Well,
what do you got? I have mine.
I'm starting to feel old, AJ. I mean, you look old, but I feel old.
You are not wrong, sir.
And I'm realizing that I need to cater to a younger demographic of the Sharks audience. And so, what do you think? What do you think I'd pull out tonight for a drink? What do you think I would do?
Based on what you just said, if you crack a White Claw, this is over.
Well, then consider this over.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Pineapple flavored. You knew it, the younger demographic. Hello, millennials. I am talking to you.
Fucking White Claw. Are you serious? I'm having a little Narrative Fermentations Perk, which is an Imperial Coffee Stout. That's what I'm rolling. I feel
terrible.
I heard about perks on a trap song. I think that's a different kind of perk, though.
Oh my lord!
And being the lightweight that I am drinking a Fruit Punch Gatorade Zero.
Good for you, Ian.
Hey, now.
One of us has to be sane by the end of this.
Oh dear lord. Okay, man.
I'm disappointed. I had the soundboard just all clipped up and ready to go.
And it's still not going?
I don't know. I'm just trying to play stuff, but I don't think it.
Loop back isn't kicking, huh?
You hear any dogs barking?
No, sir.
No. You hear an old modem going? No? Yeah, no, it's not working.
I got nothing. All right. Well, it's going to be one of those nights, people. I mean,
apparently.
If you all saw the 49er game and the way that ended, it's one of those nights. But I love the way that the chat is lit up like a Christmas tree right now. So, let's get into this now that at least we have two of us on here. Ian, I'm so sorry.
I'm here.
I'm sorry, Ian. I'm the one. How about this, AJ? Why are you on here? Why do you need to be on here?
Okay, you're not wrong.
That's the question, Ian. It's not you or me. Why is AJ? What? Never mind. All right.
So
let's let her rip.
A lot of changes this coming season. Obviously, new general manager, new coaching staff, new front office additions for drafting and development, new center hung scoreboard, and eventually a new ribbon around the bowl, new jerseys, potentially advertisements on the jerseys. So I'm going to start, Brodie, with the obvious question: Ohtani or Judge?
I just made a video on this today on my channel. I would like. And I think deserving the most is Shohei Ohtani, but I think Aaron Judge will win it. So
agree on
simple
both.
As that. You don't even have to watch my video, but for the thousands that already have, they already know what I said. But yeah, no, you know what? I'm at the end of baseball today. We played game 153. Who's counting? There's 9 left. I think I'm doing 8 of the final 9. Had a blast even in the worst, one of the second worst season in Oakland history. We still find a way to have a lot of fun. So,
Chris coming
cool
in.
Time of the year. I transition right into hockey. I look forward to it, and I'm excited. I know the outlook for this team may not be completely night and day to what it was last year. I'm pretty sure they'll be better, but I think where they were, that obviously there's still a big gap of where they were and where they want to be.
We should probably talk Sharks now.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
The Sharks.
All right.
Yeah.
So the athletic ranking was not solid for the Sharks this season. Right now, 31st in contract efficiency, 21st in prospects, 29th in front office confidence. Even the broadcast team, this means you, bro, went from...
we got rated bad by the Athletic?
Over the last 3 seasons, the broadcast went from 6th to 10th to 19th.
What?
Do you not follow this?
No. Stuff like that? No.
It's
preseason seedings and rankings, you might as well be the NHL Network who does that stuff just for play and posture, and they're so bored they let the interns do it. So who put that together?
The Athletic.
So first off, you're mostly talking about my boys, Honor, Hetty, Drew.
I will tell you.
I mean, Curtis and I are the sideshow, and apparently I'm the Robin of the sideshow. Well, but wait. Our broadcast went from 6th in the league to 19th
over 3 seasons. It was 6th to 10th and 19th. Now, I think, let's be honest, you are up and happy about your team. You're going to rate things higher when you're maybe not so happy. You rank things a little bit lower, so maybe it's come down with the performance of the Sharks, but it says the results. Once regarded as one of the best productions in hockey, the NBC Sharks broadcast has seen a significant decline in these rankings. San Jose broadcast went from 6th to 10th. Last season is now tumbled to 19th. In the past, Sharks fans praised the broadcast for catering to local fans, yet not drifting too far into homer territory. But this year, the scale tipped too far for many viewers.
Oh, too much homering?
This is what it says right here. Some of it may be ownership imposed. And again, this is comments coming in. But the Sharks broadcast painfully biased to the point where I will willingly watch the other team's broadcast frequently, said one Sharks fan. Every minor infraction against a teal skater is an egregious missed call if you listen to Brett Hedican. It says,
look,
Honor remains a nostalgic, popular voice and is the saving grace in the eyes of many fans for his balanced approach. So it's basically Han's good, everybody else is a homer.
I didn't realize we were getting into the Yelp section of
that's
of the
exactly
Sharks
what it
broadcast.
is. It's exactly what it is.
You know, AJ,
and nobody listens to that crap.
I pride myself on not going too far out here with my vocabulary, and I want to say some colorful things right now.
Oh, whip it out, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you know what? A ranking like that and anonymous comments like that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you could cherry pick, you could frame that up however you want if you're putting it together. Did whoever authored this piece, did they put their name to it or no?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's a
okay.
It's a it's a survey that the Athletic put out to the fans. So it was
but I'm saying did whoever wrote like that paragraph and whoever picked that quote and whoever did the ranking, are they named here? Or is this anonymous?
No, they're named.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Good for them.
Yeah, no, this is like Dom Lucian and then Sean Shapiro, the guys who write on the regular for the Athletic. But they're absolutely they post that it's we've got 1,800 different submissions and blah blah blah, and then they post the 3 juiciest provocative comments. Of course, it's the way it is. But anyway,
there's just a lot of obstacles between them and us, and by obstacles I mean like 55 Emmys that we've all won. So
boom, man!
Whatever, Athletic.
No,
in all seriousness,
do you need to get off camera so you can pick up that mic you just dropped, or
no, that kind of craziness? Like I don't even know what to say. I mean, honestly, I'm proud of all of our teammates. I think getting Drew back, what Hetty has become in recent years, all the above. I mean, it's just it's as good as it's ever been, and I've always thought highly of it, and I'm sure a lot of people do too. So I don't really even feel like I need to defend anything there. I'm glad you brought that up. I honestly had no clue that anybody would feel that way or write something or rank something like that.
Well, you should see the shit that Boston's broadcast caught.
Yeah, I mean, so they must be 32nd, right?
Yeah, like they invented homerism. So
yeah, but I mean, it like Jack Edwards is the 32nd broadcaster in the league, then, right?
I don't think that he was rated quite that high.
If we're ranking, is he 34th? Is that possible? Whatever.
I'd be curious who was last.
I'll have to go through and look. But anyway, let's get to the Sharks. The Athletic projects the Sharks to finish 26th in the NHL. It finished 22nd last season. Vegas oddsmaker have them at 29th. TSN projecting them to finish last in the Pacific. The front office ranks last 29th in an Athletic poll. The good news, up from 31st from last season. But the best quote being, Rudolph's Balcers is so much worse than any of the guys coming in that we had to buy him out. I liked that. But
well, so man. I mean, we're talking about what people expect. It is a first-year GM. It's a first-year combo tandem with the head coach and the coaching staff, and there is so much newness. I mean, are people ranking it based on the roster that they expect from last year to this? And to be clear, I have a video coming out on this too. You look at this roster, and it's going to be at least 50% the same as it was
Is there
last year.
anything that you don't have a video coming out on?
I gotta keep the content flowing here. You know.
You have to.
I come up with here's what I go. What's
you
that?
have to please the algorithm gods.
Yeah, exactly. Every couple days, you gotta put a banger out there. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I come up with the ideas while I'm in the shower, and then on the drive in, I kind of plan them out, play them out, and then I go to work and I make a video. Simple as that.
You're not wrong. I used to come up with my best remix ideas in the shower.
Yeah,
little soap in the head. All of a sudden, it just fires up the algorithm.
And honestly, these days I only have time for like 5 minutes max. Like I've gone from being a dad to hurry up, get to San Francisco. You know, I don't have much time.
I was going to say, speaking of Max, dude must just be like at this point just getting into everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He 5 years old. He emptied out the Roomba today and just dumped everything on the floor. He's like, I want to see what's inside. Oh, look at all that. I'm
like father, like son, man, just tearing all the tools apart.
You just emptied out the vacuum on the floor. Now the vacuum needs to re-vacuum that up. Look, I think I don't disagree in a sense that people didn't. You know, you're not seeing a roster that's a 180 difference from last year, right? There's still a huge core that remains intact. I think what is different about the Sharks this year are two things. Number one, under the hood, they're different, right? All the hockey decisions are going to come from different minds in different places. Where that stands, we'll find out. But it's not the same people by any means making decisions. I would say the other thing is, going into last year, who did the Sharks bring in to bolster themselves? Bonino, Cogliano, Reimer, right?
A couple depth pieces.
Aiden Hill was last year too. Gosh, I'm losing track of the years. So, but those Reimer, Cogliano, Bonino, that's going to thicken you out. In all honesty and in retrospect, like the Sharks were still so thin up front. Their top six was most nights like a top four, and the third and fourth lines a lot of times were so fluctuating in who they are, what they did, what you could count on them for. What I'm saying is that the difference this year is I do feel like they are deeper, they are more reliable, they are more veteran up front all the way around. They've brought in enough, role type players that you maybe know what to expect out of them, instead of calling up players from the Barracuda and saying, well, this is your chance, let's see how you do. And quite honestly, most of them were not ready for it. You get that with the combination of Eklund. Eklund's got to be here this year. Bordeleau's got to be here this year.
Well, hold on. Wait, when
got to be here this year.
When you say got to be here,
yeah,
I'm assuming you mean in San Jose, not necessarily with the Sharks.
I think I mean with the Sharks.
Really?
Yeah.
Considering all the kind of bottom six guys that Mike Greer has brought in so far at this point.
I'm saying, but see, I picked those three, right? I think what the Sharks had been doing for so long is, okay, here's three more Barracuda forwards. They didn't work out. Send them back. All right, let's try another three. Let's bring them back. What I'm saying is that the days of trying your pipeline and realizing it just wasn't clicking, I don't think they need to do that much more. But I feel like you're going to start with probably those three type players, see how it works, hope that it works. And in all reality, I don't want to say why wouldn't it work, but I realize Eklund didn't have a great season overseas last year.
On a really crappy team.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there, right? And let's be honest, I think that he handled it very well. He's a young guy, and he's probably really disappointed. But I also think in the end, the Sharks probably made the best decision for him in that, they saw enough to understand that it's going to be a long season. After 9 games, how would he be after 19, 29, 49, or 68 games, 69 games? It's just, but I hope that the year has made a little bit of a difference. He's already had a taste of it, kind of knows what to expect now. You have a coaching staff that, with Quinn maybe catering to the young type player, knows what they need, how to help them out. What I'm saying is what'll be different about the players, I hope this year, is that you don't need to keep the cycle going and bringing in a ton of Barracuda players that you thought might be ready and they just weren't ready.
I would agree with that. Didn't the Sharks lead the league, and like most games played by rookies. And I mean, you saw Chekovic, you saw Chmelevski. There was a lot of guys that got looks. Unfortunately, didn't pan out, but that seemed to be something that has happened over the last couple seasons. Whether it was a guy like your Tankin, who was on the opening night roster a couple seasons ago, Blichfeld, Bergman. There was a lot of guys.
Well, and they tried it. They did that a lot in the 20. Sorry, they did it a lot in the 21 season. It was just shorter, so they didn't bring up the total volume, right? I mean, last year was the full season, so you got to see him, debut. A lot of young kids who maybe just weren't there yet. Sorry, Ian.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to throw in that the blue line imploding injury-wise was also a big reason why we saw so many young players, because we saw guys like Jacob Magna and Nick Meloche, guys that had to come in and probably play roles that were a little bit over their head. Like they were, I think I like Jacob Magna, but is Jacob Magna number 2 defenseman? No, but he was played like one.
Right. Well, that's a good point though. That's a good point though too. Do you both feel like? See, I think the biggest area where the Sharks are just we're not deep enough, and we'll find out hopefully that they are, is up front. I think even when tested last year, I think on the blue line is where they still possess the most depth and the most reliability.
But I think,
as a group,
I would agree. But I think that statement is, it really goes to say how poor the forward group is.
Oh, they're just not deep enough. I mean,
there's the Sharks for the last 2 seasons. They haven't had a top 6. They've had a top 4.
That's what I just said. Yeah, I was saying their top 6 was the top 4, and their third and fourth lines a lot of times were just not regular, not existent, not productive.
Or you had third line guys playing second line roles, fourth line guys. Yeah, a lot of that.
Exactly. And so I think, based on the way things should shape up roster-wise, I think they've got enough experience where they don't need to lean on the AHL team, as much anymore to just fill out the roster, honestly.
Hold on. I just got to get to this comment. You just butchered every name except Bergie. You're tanking. I'm sorry. You're tanking?
You're tanking.
I mean, what? Who cares? He's not here anymore, man. All right. Coming in, because this is a laundry list when it comes to coming in, going out. Coming in, Oscar Lindblom, Etu Makaniemi, Steve Lorentz, Luke Kunin, who earlier tonight did
score a goal.
Yeah, the opening goal for this season in preseason. Nico Sturm, Marcus Nudavara, Matt Benning, Aaron Dell coming back for a second stint, CJ Seuss, I'm sorry. I'm so used to the Canadian and French pronunciations. Andrew Agazino, Yevgeny Svechnikov, who, by the way, Dan Ruzanowski loves pronouncing if you listen to the audio broadcast.
Svechnikov, score!
Going out, Rudolf Balcers, who we mentioned earlier. Nicholas Meloche going to Calgary. The aforementioned Balcers going to Florida for a 1-year deal. Brent Burns, we all know, went to Carolina along with Lane Peterson.
Wait, what?
He's gone. I hate to break it to you.
Burnsy's not here?
No mas. But he will be here for opening night.
Hang on, I got to cross this off.
Yeah, October 14th. He will be
That's
back
not
at
opening night. No. Opening night is the weekend prior, my friend. When the Sharks are in Prague.
No.
It'll be opening
night
morning on a Friday.
SAP.
I'm messing with you.
Jonathan Dahlin. Ian, correct me if I'm wrong. Dahlin signed in Europe, right?
Yeah, he's back in his former team in Sweden.
Man.
That's amazing. You know what? I'm surprised that he did not end up elsewhere in the NHL.
As am I, especially when you look at the Sharks traded Linus Karlsson for him, and right now Vancouver is really happy with that deal.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I just don't understand what happened there. I thought I saw what I saw.
Was Ulf not in town to
No, I just wonder if he was dead set on a one-way deal and maybe was thrown a 2 and said, no, I'm taking a one-way deal or I'm not. And I wonder if it just boiled down to that. And
could have been.
I think for Jonathan Dahlin, like, obviously, I think ultimately, like, a lot of players obviously want to be in the NHL. It's the best league in the world, but I think it's nice that he gets to go back because he got his team. I think it was Timra. He basically in the Allsvenskan, they got to get promoted to the SHL, and then he bailed after they got promoted. So now he kind of gets to enjoy the fruits of his labor playing for his home team in the SHL instead of the Allsvenskan.
I don't know. I think optimally, once he's had a taste of the NHL, I'm not saying it's hard to go back, but it is. I mean, he's going home, right? In a sense. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand what didn't happen here. He had a good start to last year. The middle portions were really dry. There were other points where he kind of made a splash, thought he was taking another step forward, but it was still a rookie season. I mean, I don't get it. Well, I liked him. I like watching him.
Also going out for the Sharks, Brinson Pashnik as another prospect, Zach Sawchenko, again, the aforementioned Sasha Chmelevski.
Sawzy.
Dude,
sorry.
John Leonard going to Nashville, Aiden Hill heading over to Vegas because their goalie situation is yikes. And then, of course, wholesale changes with the coaching staff. Excited about. That's our tag. Excited about. Let's be honest. There are 3 players that the Sharks are excited about this coming season: Eklund, Bordeleau, and Merkley. These are the guys the Sharks, Brodie, want to see take that next step. Now, Eklund and Bordeleau, I don't think that they have quite the pressure on them that Ryan Merkley might have right now.
He's probably ahead of where progression-wise, like where they should be versus where he should be, maybe, I guess. But playing defense is obviously, I think, a much different assignment. It's harder. I think as you watch young players come up, grooming either a stay-at-home D-man or an offensively gifted D-man, like, it just takes longer for them to mature, to feel comfortable, to really, settle in the NHL versus forwards. I'm not saying they don't all play defense or whatever, but I feel like forwards seem to latch on quicker and stay quicker. What I would say about all 3? I mean, and Merkley for a D-man probably undersized, but Bordeleau and Eklund, it's crazy.
They're not the biggest guys in the world.
Talked to these guys a bunch, but I didn't see them side by side in person until last week at Media Day.
You're not holding the mic way up high, are you?
No, Bordie and I are. I think I might have a few inches. I probably have a few of the bad pounds on him too, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
you might have an inch or 2 on him when he's in skates.
Yeah, no, they're small, but I tell you what, you can just tell, like, they have that aura. They really do, and it's something that I remember kind of feeling like Logan had back in the day, in his rookie season. Like, when he got called up, it's like, this kid, you can just tell. You just watch. Well, and there were a couple others along the way, but I it's just gut instinct, and no disrespect to any other young player on the team, but I kind of feel it with them.
I will tell you, Jerk, you're used to the Jerk man, bro. He's out tonight. So Bordeleau, oh my Lord, Jerk, huge Bordeleau fan, loves his tenacity, loves the tenacity, loves that he, it's like, okay, 5'10", soaking wet on skates.
5'10", come on, I'm 6'2", come on.
That's what I'm saying, is that kid, but it goes back to the days. Now, okay, I'm going to get back into your youth here for a hot second, Brodie. Do you remember a 5'8" Alexander Koryuk who could stick handle in a phone booth?
Was he only 5'8", Corky?
I want to say it was 5'8", maybe 5'9".
See, but when you say that now, my mental image is not a player of that stature. I mean, I knew he wasn't the biggest guy, but I didn't think he was.
No, he was definitely a smaller
Brazil
guy.
Size.
That's one. He was one of those guys. I still will say to this, until the cows come home, I will say that Corky never would have gotten a fair shot had the Sharks not moved on from Sutter to Ron Wilson, because Corky was not a Sutter player. Sutter wanted the Mike Ricci's, the Scott Thorntons, the Nick Sunstroms, those guys, the Vinny Damfuses, the Owen Nolans. And any guy who played like a Solani or a Corky.
He wasn't a Sutter type.
He didn't have any time for that. Whereas Ron Wilson,
when you're from a farm, you want big tools. You want the biggest tools possible.
Hold on, Lanical. We always give priority to people who donate to the super chat.
Oh, the super chat. Oh, we're getting the revenue flowing here. Hey, tip your bartender.
Thank God for hockey and Tealtown, USA. Keep it up, guys. Hey, thank you, Lanical. We appreciate it. Yeah, so I look at Bordeleau. I'm not saying, he's the same as Corky or anything like that, but it's just interesting to see this kind of shift. And I'm not saying that this is Shark specific. This could be hockey wide, but it used to be, it's like, oh yeah, we need these, we need 6'5" goaltenders, and we need 6'4" defensemen, and we need all these big hulking bodies, and the smaller guys get kind of pushed out. Yet now we've kind of seen this Ryan Merkley, smaller guy, Eklund, smaller, like all these sub 6 foot guys are getting good looks because they've got speed and they've got really good skills, and they can evade those big hits because you're not seeing the hits coming from guys like Zdeno Chara or Chris Pronger. You know what I mean?
I don't want to switch.
This, though. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go first.
I was going to say, I still think, though, like overall, I still think like the old adage kind of it's up to a small player to prove he can play in the league and a big player to prove he can't. I still think that holds true today.
That's very reasonable, and I think very likely. I mean, that's a good point. I will say this too. I mean, I don't want to make basketball references all night long, but like the Warriors just won a title. Are they the tallest team? Were they the fastest team? Were they the strongest team? They do what they do well. I
don't watch soccer, so I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, Ted Lasso coaches them. No, it's I think with the NHL, you've seen eras where it's like, we got to be big and heavy and work the corners. And then you've seen eras where it's like, we got to be the smallest, fastest Tampa team out there. You've seen, honestly, like I said, you've seen the copycat league in full effect. What it comes down to is, a player, if they can produce, if they can bring something to the table, nobody's really, I mean, look at some of the best Sharks players in the last 15 years. Like, was Dan Boyle the most physically gifted?
Or
like
tallest?
Physically, yeah. I'm saying like with speed, strength. No, but he was a damn smart player. Joe Pavelski, my goodness. Just the hand-eye coordination and the hockey IQ and being mentally 3 seconds ahead of the play. Honestly, even as Jumbo and Patty got older. I mean, they didn't have what they used to have, but they found a way with what they knew how to do.
Can I ask you a serious question for a moment, Brodie?
Yeah.
Dan Boyle's Moscow Mule. He knows how to rock.
I pounded it.
Okay.
He overserved me. You know what's funny? I was at
wow. A hockey player overserved a broadcast guy.
Yeah.
What a shock.
On the broadcast. It's funny, our producer was like, don't they told me to tell you can't drink on camera.
They're like,
you can drink off camera
and then spit it out.
I was like, so you just don't want to see me take a gulp? Like it's okay if I go, or if I come back, completely buzzed.
They give you the side cup when they cut away from you for a second. All of a sudden they hand you the other cup with water. Yeah.
I was in the South Bay Thursday.
All right.
And I had some things I needed to do. Anyway, long story short, I was on a hike. And I called up Boiler. I'm like, I'm kind of near your house. He's like, come on by. I never do that to people. But I knew he's probably just hanging. It's a long story, really long story.
Dude, I got nowhere to be.
It's you actually don't want to know the story. Yeah, trust me, you don't want to know it, and it's really long. But anyway. I called up. I was like, hey, so we hung out for a bit. It was good to catch up, honestly.
I mean,
sorry, I just needed a name drop right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, feel free to pick that up when you need to. I mean, are you ever going to meet an NHL player that is more honest than Dan Boyle?
Yeah, he's just, and sometimes he overthinks even the simple stuff. Like I remember interviewing him back in the day, and I knew what he wanted to say, but he would his brain would circle around it 5 times before just saying it. But he always knew what he was going to say. He was very straightforward. He called it like it was, whether it was his performance, whether it was the team's performance. I could really just admire that. And again, somebody who was undrafted into the league ended up with a Stanley Cup and a gold medal.
I remember, I kind of remember. I think it was when Jumbo had his C taken away. I immediately thought that, Boyle's the obvious choice.
That was my choice too.
Yeah.
So I actually thought it's funny that the Sharks are going to Europe right now, because when they went to Europe, when they flew out to Europe last time in 2011, 11, yeah. Oh, sorry. You know what? It was 2010 still. Wait, my first season was 9-10, and then 10-11. So 10-11 was the Stockholm trip. So it was October of 10. When we flew out there, the Sharks had no captain yet. And I remember in the old back of the bus conversation between me and Honor and Bakes and Ruzi and Drew. That's before Drew was gone and came back. And all those guys were all like, "Oh, it's Jumbo. It's no question Jumbo." And I felt like it was only my second year. I mean, I knew the guys, I knew the team, I knew the vibe of things well, but certainly didn't have as much time in the game as those guys. And they're like, "Oh, it's going to be Jumbo." And I thought, what about Dan Boyle? Like, there's somebody that, in all my, lurking around, that he'd probably be really good at this. But anyway, it wasn't him then, and you're right, it wasn't him after that either.
Yeah, I remember being at the Sharks Fan Fest, and going along the lines of whoever it was, and when it got to Boyle.
Now wait a second. When Jumbo though got the C taken away, what year was that though? Because did they move on from Boyle right after that?
Well, maybe was it when Marleau got the C taken away?
That's who you thought?
I can't remember.
Well, no, it went from Patty to Rob Blake, and then from Rob Blake to Jumbo, right?
Yeah, because that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it went from Jumbo, and then it went
Pavelski.
without a year. It went without a year, right? There was no captain for 1 year. There were 4 alternates.
Well, and if you listen to John Scott's podcast at that time, they held a vote, and evidently, if you listen to John Scott and believe him, he said that the majority of the team had all voted for Jumbo, but they still gave it to Pavelski.
Huh. I don't think I listened to a lot of John Scott. I'd never heard that one before.
Yeah, that he did a podcast with Alex Stalock.
Huh.
And what's really funny is in that podcast, I'll have to send this to you, Brodie, because you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh your ass off. It's John Scott. You have to realize, in the moment of this podcast, Alex Stalock is with the Minnesota Wild. He's still trying to make a claim for himself.
Right.
And you've got John,
spilling all the tea. Huh?
Oh, big beefy John Scott going, "So we're in San Jose, and the Jumbo and Doug got into a big fuck you, and right when that happens, Stalock just goes, boom." He throws his head around and is like, "Dude, I'm still in the league. Shut up."
Kind of like how I can fade myself to black here on the screen anytime I.
It was very much that. But
I don't think I've ever seen Alex Stalock's eyes that large.
I'm telling you. But in that interview, it was right around then where they pulled Jumbo C, and it was and you remember Doug Wilson was quoted in the media where it's like, "Oh, Jumbo can be, a little verbose at times. He can, be emotional or whatever."
I believe the word that he used was lash out. He would lash out at people, right? That's the one that was the comment.
Yeah,
I remember what happened after that.
Thornton came back where it was like, Wilson needs to stop lying. There was this whole back and forth. And what's funny is there's actually an article in The Athletic with Jim Nill from the Dallas Stars when they made a play for Jumbo around that time, where Jim Nill is literally quoted as saying, "Yeah, we made this play for Jumbo, but at the time he was in this big fuck you with Doug Wilson and didn't want to leave San Jose and blah, blah, blah." It's weird how it all came together, but it still goes back to that point, that era where I remember being in line at FanFest, asking Dan Boyle to sign my jersey because I fucking loved Dan Boyle. I loved everything about his game and his story. Like you said, undrafted, chip on his shoulder. I'm going to show you. And I respected the hell out of everything. And then we all remember that coast-to-coast goal that he had.
Yep.
Oh, my Lord. So when I asked him to sign that jersey, and I'm like, they name you captain yet? And he just kind of looked up at me with a smirk, and he's like, we'll see. It was just, I can't say enough good things about Dan Boyle. He's amazing.
Confirmed. It's all confirmed. And I'm glad that he is a forever resident. He's not moving from the house he helped build. So, yeah, I'm glad that he's in our area for good.
It's like Han Solo in Episode 7 where he's like, it's all true.
It is. It's easy for me. If I disagreed with you right now, it's so easy for me to just be like, yeah, No, but I'm saying it's all true. He's a great guy.
All right, so 3 seasons straight missing the playoffs. Like I said earlier, projected to miss for a 4th straight. I have to ask this, of course, where do you see the scoring come from? Because, 2019, they ended 2nd in goals. Since then, 27th, then 26th, last season, 30th. Where are these goals going to come from?
I think the biggest challenge was last year. Didn't they get about 70% of their goals from 3 players, Hurdle, TImo, and Logan?
Well,
and so
here's the thing. Meier, Hurdle, and Couture were the top 3.
Right.
The next 3 were Bonino, Dahlin, and Balcers. 2 of those players are no longer here.
Yeah.
And they were the league worst at 5-on-5. And you got rid of Brent Burns, who posted 54 points, 10 goals. Now, granted, 2nd in power play, they led the NHL in block shots, but that hasn't been the problem defensively. It's been the lack
goal
of
scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and at the end of the last season, they said we looked at where we finished, and it was like 40 goals short, 40 to 60 goals short of what we needed to win some games. And
or 20
quite
points.
Honestly, yeah. Well, and I thought about looking straight at the absence of Evander Kane. Now that's a whole separate conversation.
It's literally the name we don't speak.
No, I mean, we gotta. No, I made. Hey, AJ made a video about that recently.
What a shock!
Just trying to put a bow on everything, but some of that would have come from. I think what cost them dearly last year was just a type of player that they were paying for that they didn't have. And let's cross out Evander Kane's name and likeness and all that stuff. Bring in a player that was probably going to bring you 30-plus goals in a season, like Evander probably would have if he were on the team, and they missed that.
No.
So, look, I don't have an answer for who that person is. Clearly, last year they just didn't get it at all. But you're absolutely right. That to me is where they were shy last year. There was a lot of games where they shored up things defensively. Couple seasons ago, how many times do we all have that conversation? Is it the team defense? Is it Martin Jones? What is it? Like, why are you always allowing a 4 and a 5 spot and losing that way? Last year, they lost a lot of games where it was 3-0, 3-1, 4-2. Like the Sharks were the Sharks scoring was the one where they were 2 or fewer. Like they were on the wrong side of 2 or fewer way too often. They just could not be consistent scoring goals.
Well, and I was one of those people where it's like, look, yeah, Jones and Dell, they needed to be better. Absolutely, I get that, but I think that there's a certain amount of people that needed to realize that, after 2019, the Sharks were 2nd in goals scored. The next year they were 27th. They had the same tandem in goal who put up the exact same amount of points. But they shit all over Dell and Jones while not mentioning that, their goals per game went from like 3.8 to 2.4. And it's like, that's last time I looked, Jones and Dell, not the guys that you rely on to score goals.
Well, but here's this. I mean, the eye test, like the numbers, to your point, the numbers probably give you enough of an answer. But if you watch all the games, the Sharks greatly cut down on odd man rushes and chances against last year, even for the most part. Like, granted, when you go on a 10-game losing skid, a lot of stuff's going to go wrong. They lost 10 in a row and 7 in a row. They had 2 streaks totaling 17 of all of their losses, like in just 2 streaks alone. But
If I remember correctly, the last time they lost 10 games in a row, they went and traded Sturm, Stewart, and Primo for Joe Thornton.
You're saying the time before this past, they lost 10 in a row this past season, right?
That's what I'm saying. The last time they lost 10 in a row.
Before that, yeah. I think the most they had ever lost in a row, was that 16 or 17? But all the prior streaks were in the 91 or 92 season.
Well, yeah, because Drew Remenda.
Right. Bad coaching, easy.
He'll tell you.
So I'm just saying, yeah, if you look at the Sharks clean things up in terms of odd man chances against, I also think net front chances, second chances, third, fourth, and fifth chances. Crazy to say that, but they didn't allow as much last year defensively, but they couldn't just do it on the other end. And so, look, I think still what is the number one question is, are they deep enough up front? And I don't mean just filling in a lineup. I mean, like, can they produce up front? Can you get some regular goal scorers up front? Can you have a complete top six? And can you also have a third and fourth line that chip in, do their thing, play a certain role? Because right now the way they have it, last year they certainly did not have enough of that.
I feel like there are everybody loves to do the clickbait articles, the 3 big questions and blah blah blah.
5 bold predictions by Brodie Brazil. I've done that video. I did that YouTube video too. So I've done everything.
So 3 questions for me. I'm gonna say is can Noah Gregor bury?
It's another good one.
I mean, Ian, what was his the percentage?
So his shooting percentage last year, I don't have it in front of me, but it was awful. And I think when you look at a guy like, why is Rudy Balcers not here and Noah Gregor still is?
Thank you.
Like Rudy Balcers shot at a pretty good, his shooting percentage was on a pretty good clip. Like it was probably where you expect it. Where Noah Gregor, his shooting percentage was way lower than you would expect it to be. And I think that's why Noah Gregor gets another kick at the can, whereas Rudy Balcers doesn't. Do I like the decision to buy out Rudy Balcers? No, but I think that's the thinking behind it. Go ahead, Brodie. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm not taking I'm actually just asking this out of curiosity, not even to take a side, but how many shot attempts, what was the difference between Balcers and Gregor off the top? Do you know? Did one get a lot more?
Give me a second.
I'm curious.
I feel like
what
Gregor
do you think it is?
Must have gotten a lot more.
I feel like that, right?
I mean, how many times did that guy get a point blank look?
Right. Right. Well, and I'm just talking total shots on net, right? Where they all kind of read the same. If it's on the 4x6, it's a shot, right? But I'm curious about that. And maybe they just see that as potential versus, I don't know, the way Rudy scored. Yeah, there were some interesting moves already, right? And I don't think Burnsy, the trade there, it's not an interesting move. I mean, it's a big move. It's a wow move. That's your time on ice leader for each of the last how many seasons? And a big part of the dressing room. Also a big contract, but also one of the most, desirable players for another team to make a deal with.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. It's, Burns is looking at the calendar going, I got a couple years left. And I look at the tea leaves in San Jose, not looking like this is going to be a team that's going to compete for a cup. He opened up because if you go back and look, Carolina was not on his list of teams to be traded to. But he opened that up and he said, yeah, I'll make that happen. Mike Grier, to his credit, said, yeah, you want to go there. You look at, I don't want to sit there and crowdsource this and say, well, social media is, that's every time you go into social media, you got to put on the hazmat suit so you're not infected by all the toxicity that comes from there. But the Elliot Friedmans of the world, the Pierre LeBrons looked at the return that Burns provided to the Sharks and they said, well, the Sharks, maybe they could have done a little bit better. But to me, and this is going to be something that Jerk will tell you from, will shout from the mountaintops, is one of his favorite players to get back in any type of a trade is a guy by the name of Cap Space. And that's what the Sharks got in that deal. Even though they had to eat some money, it was giving Mike Grier some flexibility to make some more moves. Ian, you had?
Well,
something?
Yeah. So Rudolph Balcers shot the puck 98 times last year and scored an 11.2 percentage, which is about league average for shooting percentage. Noah Gregor shot 156 times and only scored 5.1% of his shots, which is really brutal shooting percentage.
So,
I was just curious about it. Thanks for looking that up. I was curious about that.
But it comes back to the point of, why the hell did you let Balcers go? Like, you had him, but like, why buy him
feel like
out?
Noah creates, and Noah's got more upside maybe. And I mean, look.
No, but I don't. No, you still keep Noah. That's fine. But you bought Balcers out for, in my mind, no discernible reason.
There must be something, huh?
When it comes to ROI, I don't get it. Like, your return on investment, I thought was solid. I didn't understand why they bought that out. Why they're gonna. I think they had him for like 1.1 for one more year, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna pay you half of that to not play for us." And I'm like, "That's next to nothing."
I mean, again, the decision on moving on from Jonathan Dahlen too, caught me by surprise. But again, here's one thing I've learned, AJ: when you think you understand something, and then somebody who does understand it makes a move against it, and you're like, okay, I guess I didn't know. I guess what I saw was not exactly what was reality. You know, I mean, I'll not to go back to Evander for a second, but I keep saying this in all like the commentary I do on his situation and, like, you know, videos I've made. You know, in all the interactions I ever had with Evander Kane, I never had a problem with the guy. And there are some people I come across where I'm like, I can tell there's like, stay away. Like, you know.
Sure.
Granted,
dude, there's 3 or 4 people that every time I talk to them, they're like, dude, I don't even understand how you're able to talk to Brodie. But you and I, we're fine. So I don't get it.
You know, like, you can sniff it out on somebody a lot of times. But that's the thing, right? Is like, just because I never sensed that there was turbulence and disturbance between he and teammates and coaches. But see, that just proves I was a bad judge of it the whole time, because I never witnessed it. I never saw. Well, there were some things, but not, you know, it's just rough edges. I didn't realize it was like to the point where, no, we don't want you on our team. It's that bad. So anyway, to the point, and I guess what I'm saying is, evaluating players, you know, sometimes you see an eyebrow raising decision like that, and you have to understand they know way more about the person, the situation, than we ever could. You know, so there's got to be a reason, and chances are you'll never find out what that reason is. You know, why you'd buy out a Rudy and why you'd move on from a Dahlen. You know, so I mean, just goes to show until John Scott drops it on his podcast. You know, then you'll know what really happened.
Oh, the stuff he has dropped.
Fairly, man. You know what's that? I like to be up to speed on those things. I didn't even know that was a thing until you mentioned it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Not only that, he talked about at one point, what was it? The Sharks? I don't know. Ian, where the hell does John Scott live right now? Is it Minnesota?
He's out in the Midwest. I talked to him a while back.
Yeah, I think he's like somewhere in that neck of the woods.
I thought he was in St. Louis, maybe.
He's somewhere over in. You're right. Somewhere in the Midwest. I can't remember where off the top of my head.
All I know is that there was another cast that he had talked about, and I don't know that he was, you know, too far removed from the Sharks. I think it might have been Karlsson's first year, and the Sharks came into town, and you have to realize at that point. Brodie, put your phone down.
Sorry, I'm looking up. I'm looking up I'm looking up an area code here.
No, that's all good. But he talked. John Scott talked about that. There was the Sharks came into town. He had he went and visited some of the guys at the hotel, and it was like Vlasic, it was Marleau. So this was, I want to say, just maybe the season before Marleau left. And Marleau, let's be honest, if you can ever find any type of video, anything in print, anything recorded where Marleau says a bad thing about anybody, I will give you $1 bajillion, because Marleau is not that guy. But evidently in that hotel room was Vlasic, who I think we've seen on social media and different things, really doesn't give a fuck. So Vlasic going to tell it like it is. There was somebody else. I wish I could remember who he talked about, but it was Vlasic, Marlowe. It was definitely a longer tenured Shark, if you will. They didn't have anything nice to say about Erik Karlsson. And then a year later, he talked about it where after Kane is in, they didn't have anything nice to say about Kane either. And you have to remember that these are two players that came into the Sharks and essentially got everything they wanted off the hop. You know, you look back, Pavelski made sacrifices, term-wise, financially. Vlasic, same thing. Kevin LeBanc signed a 1-year, $1 million deal for the benefit of the team, knowing that Doug Wilson told him, look, you're going to get this on the back end.
Right.
Don't worry. I got you. Help us out now. I got you on the back end. So players had signed team-friendly deals. And then anybody with the initials EK come in and they're like, yeah, we'll take all of that. Thank you. You know, and it just didn't sit right with some players. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't know, Brodie, did you ever watch the video that Pavelski, he did an interview literally on the steps of his home in I will just say the South Bay. We don't want to give anything away, but his home on the steps with the
I've been there.
Okay, then. NHL Network. And he signed that deal. He was out of San Jose, signed the deal with Dallas. It was the biggest shit-eating grin I've ever seen. Like, when Brendan Dillon knew that game versus Washington, that matinee game, and people were coming to him saying, do you think this might be the last game that you played for San Jose because of all the extenuation? He broke down. He cut,
crying. Yeah, I remember that.
He cut the interview off early.
Right.
Because he was just like, I really love it here. Pavelski was just like, nah, man, get me the hell out of here. And
was he though?
It was the vibe. It was the vibe that came off in the interview. And I'm not saying that was something against the city or the fans of San Jose. I felt
did the Sharks tell him that you are not in our long-term plans here? Like, was that already?
Well, I mean, they kind of did by not giving him a third year.
Right. That was made clear, right? So in a way,
it just felt like, you know.
Have you ever worked under a contract?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
do you
consistently work? Yeah. Do you consistently work under a contract?
No.
I do. And the one thing I understand is that those situations that you mentioned, you know, somebody coming in and, you know, getting the bank, you know, backing the truck up for them, or all that stuff. All this is business. And in the end, you should only worry about yourself, and you should only be, am I happy? Am I getting taken care of? And only you know, right? But there are these other things which are only human nature. And the Sharks or any other team or any other sport, any other player across any league, nobody is immune to the whole, like, wait a second, you know? Now, going back to the Pavelski thing, again, I think why he was probably just so satisfied was this is an opportunity, a door shut for him in San Jose that I don't think he wanted to shut. And it opened up somewhere else that was favorable to him. So I think that's probably I don't think it was him, I can't wait to get out of here. I think it was him saying,
No. I'm not saying
Oh, that's it? Oh, let me open up the door somewhere else. You
know?
No.
I didn't say he couldn't wait to get out of here. I don't think
you're just saying he was happy.
I think that he was very happy with the situation that ended up happening.
Well,
It was just like he wanted that third year. The Sharks were like, no, we're not going to do that. And so he found somebody, because if I remember correctly, it came down to like Tampa and Dallas.
Yeah, no, and that's right. And he was shopping both, and obviously both of them were, you know, contending teams. He should have probably went to Dallas Tampa in retrospect.
Sure.
Just with the way things worked out. But no, I mean, to the point, it's not like pick the worst team in the league, right? It wasn't like
no, nothing like that.
It wasn't like, oh, you're going to spend these next years when Detroit is at their worst, and that's where you're going. No, it was a chance to win immediately, continue winning. You know?
No, it was just, I don't know. My feeling I just remember like it was yesterday watching that clip, that interview with NHL Network, and you see, NHL Network. They're just, as soon as a guy gets traded, they're on the phone with him going, hey, how fast can we get you on and blah, blah, blah.
Well, they are the league,
Right? But it was just to me, I'll never forget it. Him sitting on his porch, the beautiful home behind him, and they're like, what do you think? And he's like, oh, I'm just super juiced. And they're just, I don't know. I've seen a lot of those videos or those interactions where you can see a little bit of, I don't know, I don't want to say remorse. I don't think that's the right terminology, but definitely kind of like, yeah, I'm going to miss it here kind of a thing. And, but I'm excited about the next opportunity, but I'm going to miss the guys here. But there was none of that in the Pavelski interview. It was just kind of like, well, the Sharks made a decision and I'm excited to move on and blah, blah, blah. Right. It was very much kind of like, hey, they didn't want me, so I'm out and it's fine. And anyway, I don't even know how the hell we got on this. Anyway, so
here's what I want to tell you, though. Here's what I want to tell you. I realistically have a good 20 more before I will time out, but I will physically tap out also.
I'm surprised we've gone this long, to be honest. I thought this was going to be
a stretch. No, yeah. I want to make sure we do it. So
where you at on your beverage?
Wherever we want to steer it, let's go, because I want to do what we want to do.
Where are you at in your beverage? Done?
Oh, that was long.
Okay, shit. Okay. So, the projection last season for the Sharks was 83.5. They came in at 77. This year it's 77.5.
Wow.
High, over under. Be
they'll
honest.
Get over that.
Be honest.
They're better. No, I do. I think they'll get over that. Let me just say this too. We're past the point of, remember last year how, you'd look at the group and say, well, but they're sticking together, and well, they've bought in.
I don't think that Bugner gets enough credit for the shit that he had to go through.
I agree. He never got handed a turnkey situation, and every coach before him got handed a turnkey. Even Pete DeBoer, Todd McClellan, you go way back. Every coach got something that was workable.
I don't even know that I would say turnkey, just because of the fact. Well, first off, Bugner. I should say DeBoer was the only coach that had ever been given a pink slip mid-season by the Sharks. Everybody else was always, in between. But the fact that Bugner comes in mid-season,
right,
after what he did in Florida, after helping Burns win a Norris, but, things didn't go as planned in Florida, comes back and then takes over mid-season. So he's already handcuffed.
Well, think about this, that mid-season in a season that ended after 70 games, they were already way out of it, right? The pandemic started. Then the next year is the whole 2021 situation.
Everything, first 18 games are in Arizona. The whole camp is in Arizona.
You can't even have team meetings with your players in person. There was a lot of obstacles there. And then, last year is what it is too. It was the first normal-ish season, but remember the day that Bob and 7 players were put on the shelf for two full weeks?
Had to do all that?
Knock on wood that we don't have to go through that. But, again, what was a normal set of circumstances for him, let alone you had the whole Evander Kane situation going on. Oh, yeah, Bob, by the way, we're going to take your top performer from last year, and because of this conflict, she's not even available.
That was my point about Bugner. It was just like, it just seemed like at every turn there was an obstacle.
Yeah.
And
No, he didn't get the fairest
he had last season's team that was, I would say, arguably a worse team than the previous 2 seasons. And he got them, at least in my mind, to play harder than those teams.
He tightened them up. I don't think there's any question about that. But I would also say
felt
that,
like before Jones, or back when he had Jones, there were definitely a few games where it was just like, boy, they'd get down 2 goals.
Yeah.
End of the second, they're waving the white flag. But this last season, after the changeover to Reimer and everything like that, you saw a coming together and a rallying, and they were going to circle the wagons, and they're like, look, we might not win this game, but God damn it, we're going to give it our all, instead of just, going, well, I guess this is another L in the books.
Well,
go ahead, Ian.
I just going to say, I think with the goaltending though, James Reimer gave them a chance to win pretty much every game he was in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Say what you will, Martin Jones did not give them that.
Martin Jones was good in his first season, first stretch.
For sure, but at the end, of the Martin Jones era, like
no, you're right.
You could not count on Martin Jones. Like
he would always give up one in the first 2 minutes of the game too. It felt like
5.
You know,
5.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know, it was early. It was like already. I just. But the overall point of this is what I wanted to say is just that you can't go. I mean, I do think the Sharks need to make statements this year, and exactly what you both have already said. Like, it's how you play in these games. When you're down, do you come back? How about the stretches of 3 games in 4 nights? You know, what's that third game look like? You do need to make those statements. And you also are past the point, though, where just saying that we're looking better and we're playing well, like at some point that is going to expire, right? You can't be stuck in that forever. There is still a little bit of that because everything is so new, coaching staff, front office, handful of players. But at some point they have to, if they're going to get out of this and become who they used to be, contending every year, then they have to graduate from just the baseline of, well, things are feeling and looking better, but they're actually not better yet. At some point, they will have to get, they will have to step through that.
Do you remember? Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ian.
I was gonna say, because like this, just kind of tagging on to what Brodie's saying. I mean, this is the 3rd season now we're starting where we got to reset the culture.
Yeah, no.
After resetting it last season,
you're right. But I mean, and it's, and I think they did have some steps forward in that regard. The culture, right? Let's just talk about that. Forget wins and losses. They did have that, but you can't. This year cannot also be about that same thing. If you really want to move forward, it cannot be about the same thing. It's got to be about something more tangible.
Well, especially when you've made changes wholesale, top to bottom.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So you remember Drew Remenda and his quick quiz? Right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Can EK65 stay healthy for 1 season in San Jose?
I mean, I want him to. And he's had, and I think last year was the hand injury? When did he get hit?
I think it might have been his second hand injury.
2 years ago. Yeah, no, I mean, there's been.
There was the broken thumb. There was the
here's like.
And I'm not blaming. No. Hold on. You have to realize there's a decent amount of viewers. We have 84 watching right now. There are a certain amount of viewers that have. AJ is just the world's biggest EK65 hater and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a hater. I just want to see the guy live up to his contract once in the 8-year deal.
But that's something that, like, to not, I don't know, how many, he's been 20 plus games short every year, right? Ever since he came over.
He's not literally, okay. I don't want to say literally because that's definitive. But if you look at it, through his contract, since he's been a Shark, he's missed in 4 years. He's missed, I believe, 78 games, like almost a full hockey season.
So I'll say 2 things. Number one, there's 2 types of injuries. The ones where you're like, what was he supposed to do? Like, got hit by a puck in the hand. It happens, right? But then there's the other part of it too, of missing games. To your point, you don't have him on the team. But here's the hard part is stopping your season, then starting your season, then stopping your season again. It's really hard.
Coming back too soon?
Yeah, even for a player who's been around the block as he has, it's hard to start and stop your season as many times as he's been doing it. So, boy, we're doing bad on the quick quiz, but I certainly hope so. But I'm at the point where if we can eliminate, and I'm not saying any injury is preventable, but if the freak things are going to happen, the freak things are going to happen. If we can keep it to just that, I'll take that. I would love to see him play 70, 78 games this year. I don't even know why I'm having him miss 4, but under the weather for a few days, whatever. So.
I'm just saying. Last season, the Sharks PK was 2nd in the league. Power play was 22nd in the league. Can the Sharks, by next April, have both of those numbers above 15th in the league?
Well, I think the PK, why wouldn't it?
Why wouldn't it?
Similar.
So
again,
it really
right?
comes
like
down to
So the power play. I'm gonna tell you that the goal is probably to get it to 15. You're saying can it be in the top?
Well, be above, in the top half of the league. We've already, now I should, preface this with the fact that David Quinn was quoted earlier this week as saying, when asked, do you want to kind of spread out your talent among both units, or are you going to top load it? And Quinn said, we're putting all the best guys at the top unit. And it's like if EK needs to play all 2 minutes, there you go.
So they need goals, right?
Yeah.
And those come at even strength, but you obviously get a way better shot 2 minutes at a time on the power play. So I'll put it this way. If they want to take steps forward as a team, it has to be in the top half. It has to hover around the 15 mark. If it's in the 20s, exactly like you're saying before, that's those 40, 50, 60 goals that they were short last year and cost them wins and cost them games.
Well, last season, 30th in goals for, like last in 5-on-5.
Yeah. No, that's it, right? I mean, they just could not score.
Yeah. So it's, do you think that this group, along with, the new coaching style from Quinn, are they going to be able to manufacture those goals that's going to get them over the hump to I don't expect this team to make the playoffs, but I expect them to, as I stated at the beginning of this, TSN, The Athletic, all like the big, sporting names, they all have San Jose finishing in, 25th or lower in the league, last in the Pacific. Will this Sharks team this season finish last in the Pacific?
No.
Yeah, I say no.
Who do you think? Okay, Brodie, who do you think finishes below them? Seattle? Anaheim?
Oh, the Desert Dogs easily.
The dogs are not in the...
Come on. Actually, because
hold on, he said Desert Dog. Excuse me.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to talk about the Mullet Arena in a second. That's why I brought that up. I knew this was, when you were saying that, I was like, I got to say this. It has to be Seattle, right?
I think Seattle's going to improve. I mean, but then again, they have nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
My money's on Anaheim.
Yeah. The Kings have taken too many good steps forward. I don't know that Anaheim has wholesale, right? Like there's some individuals that I like there. I'm excited about for them.
The thing with the Sharks compared to other teams, like other teams have the ability to get worse.
Is Van guaranteed to be really good?
I think they'll be okay.
With
Anaheim, I could see the Sharks being in last, but I could also see like Anaheim trading John Gibson halfway through the season and then
then having really nothing.
Right.
Those Anaheim sports teams, they really know how to muck something up, don't they?
I feel like Gibson at this point might be like, trade me right fucking now.
Get me out of here.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is Anaheim is very exciting with Zegras.
Yeah.
And who's the other cat, Ian?
Milano?
No.
Troy Terry.
Yeah, Troy Terry and
Terry,
Zegras. Those guys are very exciting to watch. They're a lot of fun, and that's the thing. I would love a Zegras to be in San Jose because it's one of those things where you see the Michigan. That's the shit that's going to end up on ESPN. I love the fact that it's like Anaheim, they might not be a good hockey team, but it's those plays from Zegras that is going to get them.
I got 3 words for you, AJ.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Bordeleau.
All right. But, okay, now let me ask you this. I have 4 for you. Barracuda.
Oh, no.
Okay. No.
I told him the other day, I was like, hey, that rink over there, that Tech CU Arena, that's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I hope you don't play a damn game there this season.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's what I told him.
But, again, you see all the bodies that Mike Greer brought in. You don't want to waste anybody's year, just like they did with 100%. Eklund.
You also don't want them to have a bad NHL experience. Like you need to. It's funny. I always use the meat reference. Like you want to make sure you cook the meat to perfection. Like you want it so when it's off the grill, like you didn't undercook it, you didn't roast it. If you had to put it back on, that's okay. But just make sure that when you're done with it, it's ready to. Hold on, ready to roll.
Ian, are you got it?
All good.
Okay, thank you. It's because we occasionally Brodie you are more than aware that occasionally you get the Russian bots that come in and say stupid things, and so we have to mute them
one?
and get Well, we got somebody who.
What's it saying?
All they are doing is just putting in the word AIDS over and over. Yeah, what's the point, right?
A little inappropriate.
Yeah. Our buddy Skyler coming in with the donation saying, "Isn't Eklund our Zegras?"
Right. Well, why? Yeah. Or is it no love for Bordie? What's going on?
Well, hold on, Ian. We got another one.
I'm on it. Don't worry.
Okay. Just now the username.
Gotta whisper to the bots. Yeah. If you whisper to them, they'll treat you better.
It's always whispering. But that's my thing. Is there's a part of me, and maybe this is just me, going full on conspiracy theory, which I normally don't do, but Mike Greer has brought in a lot of bodies this season, and it's going to be on Bordeleau, Eklund, Weisblatt, Robbins, Gushkin, whoever.
Yep.
These guys are going to have to kick the goddamn door down in order to make the Sharks roster, and I like that. I want to see that competitive edge among that whole group. Yeah, make them earn that shot. But on the other end of it, I kind of sit there and go, you know what, though? You look at those names that I just said, along with what appears to be a really goddamn fun prospect to watch in net with Strauss-Mann. I love Strauss-Mann. So you look at him. You look at Merkley, some of those defensive, Knyazhev. There are some fun. My point is, brand new barn, brand new gorgeous jerseys. Just, you know what?
I do like those.
The Barracuda has this opportunity to, at a really good family-friendly price point, bring in the youth and get them really juiced about hockey. Because let's be honest, the Barracuda last year, because there was so much of the transit between the two teams, the Barracuda were horrible because they just there was just too much back and forth. They
were picked over 100%. Yeah,
and their goaltending was just yikes. Yeah. So to see this, I'm excited about, and let's just can we just look at it for a second? Look at those.
Oh, I love it. Was it the ice? One's called the ice.
Oh,
one's
ice,
called
blackout, and steel.
Steel's the other one. That's right.
Oh, that's
I know
steel.
the blackout one came first. I got to be honest with you.
It's the worst.
The blackout one for me is
the worst.
It's just not my it's not my thing. But it's fine.
The diagonal word marks don't work unless you're the Rangers.
I also want to say this. Okay. Actually, I want to say a couple different things. Number one, have you both been to TexCU yet?
Absolutely, I have. It'd be a little hard for Ian to get there from Canada.
3,000 miles away.
Yeah, we've closed off the borders again. No, it is unreal. It is. You're right about all those things.
Gorgeous.
AJ, I want to pick a bone with you. You also were not completely sold on the new Sharks jerseys, but I want to tell you.
No.
What I want to give the Barracuda, I'll give those Black Cuda jerseys the benefit of the doubt until I actually see them full scale numbers on them. I want to see what the breezers look like. I want to see what mitts and the helm, the buckets. I want to see how you got to see the whole painting to really appreciate it. Because I'll tell you this, the all teal, right?
This looks better.
Why are you going to the rendering? We've got the real.
This looks better.
Thing now.
This looks better.
So
I'm sorry. This.
Oh, I see what you did. What you did. You did your own thing.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
This. I'm sorry. On the left, teal.
Yeah, but go back to the black.
Teal,
go back to
top
the
to bottom, looks like a goddamn highlight pen. It looks like.
Have you seen them in person yet?
Yes.
That looks like That looks like them in the 2010s. So what they're at now is an evolution. So let me just say this.
It looks like what do they call it in the NFL on Thursday?
What's that?
The color rush.
Oh, is that what they do?
Well, no, on Thursdays, NFL, you've seen it. Last week when the Niners played Seattle and they're top to bottom in that day-glow green, they look like a fucking 6-foot tall walking highlighter pen. You need contrast. And to me, this offers contrast. Now, teal breezers in the aways, absolutely.
You gotta see them.
Because it offers contrast. But top to bottom teal, no. Even today when I watched, I saw today's game. It needs black.
I talked to a lot of players about the jerseys. I talked to a lot of them, and I actually, what they said, I was like, man, you're saying exactly how I feel. When I first saw it, and a lot of them saw it last year, they saw the the initial mock-ups. They've been, and it's so sad that they leaked how they did when they did whatever.
It was the same store who leaked it.
No, I mean the renderings. You're saying?
Oh, well, not the renderings, but when they actually came out, it was the same hockey store that leaked the 25th Heritage.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. That's if you go back and you look, it's the same store that got the box of the 25th. Yeah, it's the same store. Anyway.
So what I said, what they said was, when we all saw it, we're like, oh, okay, whatever. But then it's already grown on them as they put it on. They took pictures in it. They've now played in it. I'm telling you, I was a person who, when they changed logos, was it 07, 06, 07, 08, somewhere in there? And like literally Terry Smith designed the original one. He designed the new one. It's the same dude who brought you greatness the first time, only updated it. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm not. No, this ain't it. And sure enough, now I look at it and I don't even think twice about it. So
tell me honestly.
Yeah.
You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. You're gonna tell me the one on the right looks better.
Man, you've gone so hard on it. What is that logo in the middle?
That was somebody on Twitter who said, here's what it would look like if you had black lid, black gloves, black pants.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the teal bucket too is awesome.
I don't mind the teal bucket. I don't even mind the gloves that much. It's the breezers. You have to have the breakup.
What's on the left is the 2000s and the 2010 Sharks, and what's on the right is the 2020 Sharks.
All right.
I'm telling you.
What about this? You're not going to tell me that the gray looks tighter?
I do like, you know what? I do like that.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude, the gray looks tighter.
Okay, but wait a second. Now we got to put that in the bigger picture of the whole scheme.
Because it's
like,
a throwback. What
other gray elements are there?
To me, that is a better throwback because the whole thing is, right, it's evolution, right? It's the evolved jersey and everything like that.
Right.
And I love the fact that it was like the striping pattern and everything was clearly a throwback to their original jersey.
The first
I'm down with that. Yeah. But to have everything just teal. Like you have to, because every team has black and white, in their palette. You have to have a secondary color. And to be honest, I think the stripes with that pattern that they put, similar to the Stealth with the PCB board, that wave pattern that they put into the arms and the waist, I actually think it looks cooler with the gray because it's almost like sand in the waves,
Yeah.
I think it pops. And the stripes are an inversion of the original one. So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's still that nod to the past, but we're moving towards the future. This to me, that gray, if they've thrown the gray stripes, even if it was only on the homes,
right?
I was like, knocked it out of the park.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not. I have to preface everything by saying I'm the type of person who it still takes me. I get so accustomed to one thing.
What did you say in one of your videos that it took you 2 years to get used to the 2007 unis?
Yeah, I'm saying the new logo. Like I looked at it for the longest time and said this is not what.
Yeah, it's not right.
I still maintain that if I die and it's in my will to get buried in a Sharks jersey, that I would request the original.
Thank you.
Still, just because that's all I ever. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever that, but that's a weird thing to say. Obviously,
what do you think about the reverse retros with them going seals?
I like that, and I think that that has been a long time coming that they did anything seals related in terms of an education. Yeah, you don't think they should have done that before? I think they should have done that years ago.
Well, I mean, they did a They did a night where they had they gave out a seals shirt, branded shirt that had like a thing. I don't know. I don't draw the correlation between the Sharks and the Seals. Like, I would say, like, where did the Athletics come from? Kansas City?
Yeah, and then Philly before that.
Yeah, so that I can see where it goes from one to the other, but it was literally kind of like the same franchise moving, whereas the Seals, it was, I don't know, I don't.
Yeah, but our region had a NHL team before. Everybody says the Sharks came to the Bay Area. It was the first hockey team ever. It's like,
no.
And I think that way too. You know why? Because all the Seals predate me by a ton.
Yeah.
And if you go
we
into
get
the
it,
tank,
Brodie, you're young.
No, but you too though. Go to the tank opening night, look around, and ask yourself, does that person know about the Seals? Does that person know about the Seals? Does that it is a lost relic, honestly, unless you're 55, 60 years old.
Brodie, I am 10 years older than you. I didn't know about the Seals until like 8 years ago.
So 60, let's call it, you got to be 60 plus to really have understood what that's even all about. And I hear it all the time from older Sharks fans. They're like, I remember watching the Seals and the white skates and all this stuff and all, all the Finley stuff that made them unique. But yeah, the reason I like it is because, first off, Sharks, Seals, there's that connection there. I think their color scheme is like not far off of teal, so it's like, it's
from the A's.
Yeah, but if you look at the photos, I don't know if it's bad color on the photos or their jerseys do not look 100% green and gold.
No, well, it depends on what era, because they changed over the course of a decade. It's like they changed every 2 years.
They were like five different shades of green to teal to like sea foam, I think, at one point. Yeah, so it's hard to know like exactly what they'll ultimately do, for these jerseys. But the point being, though, that I think it's an important history lesson. Like, they're not just doing this for a fashion statement. You're almost doing this as a history lesson because people are going to be like, what? And then they'll learn about it.
Okay. So, well, you know what? I'll buy that if the Sharks at some point in the next year or so, we've seen them do the, dear Lord, man, we are having such a problem over this last 10 minutes with the trolls.
The bots?
Yeah. Oh my Lord. They're overwhelming. And I apologize to everybody watching that is trying to like interact with the chat. It's ridiculous.
AIDS is trending all of a sudden. That's
evidently.
Terrible. It's not even that's not even a play. That's terrible.
So my point being is, like, the Sharks have done a nod to the Seals, right? They've done a nod to there was a couple years ago, and I thought this was fantastic. Actually, I don't think it was the Sharks. I think it might have been the Barracuda that they did a couple different games where it's like, okay, this is the game that we're going to give a nod to the Kentucky Thoroughblades.
Yeah,
and this
I remember that.
Here's for the Cleveland Barons. Here's for the Worcester Sharks, and blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was very cool because it gave a nod to all the minor league teams that kind of fed into the San Jose Sharks. I would love to see the Sharks do a little tip of the lid, if you will, to the San Francisco Spiders and San Francisco Bulls.
Oh, come on.
At least the Spiders, because
those didn't even last long. How long did the Bulls last? Not even two full seasons?
Bulls did not last. They were a season and a half. The Spiders only one season, but the Spiders had two Sharks play for them, Link Gates and Sandis Ozolinsh.
The Spiders had some games televised, too, because I remember watching those back in the day. Like, I got to check this out.
Those three teams are the only ones that can say that the Sharks, Spiders, and Bulls can say they were the only ones that ever played in that shit house of a barn in Brisbane, or
literally
where the hell? Yeah, literally.
It is Brisbane, by the way. Yeah, people. That's really good knowledge that it's actually, I think, technically in Brisbane, or Brisbane if you're Australian.
I like you. I think that's good knowledge, Gary.
Gary Radnick. Wow. I think the Sharks ought to play a game back at the Cow Palace.
I totally agree. Preseason,
yeah,
absolutely.
And first off, they can't. And if you've ever walked up those stairs up to the dressing room, what can they though? I know
Brodie. How many people can fit in that barn? Like 12, 13, 14,000, somewhere.
Yeah, but
they sold
10 years.
They had 9,000 people attend tonight's game. They can make it happen at the Cow Palace.
No, but I'm saying like facility wise and
they can do it.
Ice plant wise, I bet you whatever they installed back in there for that, they spent a couple $1 million in infrastructure.
It's
stuff
fine.
They,
to me,
honestly,
it's fine. No, to me, honestly,
you're gonna be filling up the Freon, or who's doing that?
you want to try to sell the game. You want to put it out there, spread it among the Bay Area. Absolutely, the Sharks should play.
They should play at Chase Center then, honestly. Play at a brand new world-class arena.
Fine.
I'm saying go back to the Cow Palace. I was joking, first off, and I meant like literally one game.
I'm
tell you
not
this.
joking. I think that would be great. I think Sharks fans would get a huge kick out of that were season ticket holders back then.
The originals. How about this? Because I was saying when Candlestick was in shambles and the 49ers were basically done with it, I was like, hey, let's have the Giants play one series there against the A's.
That would have been great.
I realized there's going to be some cracked seats, and I realized it's not going to be perfect, but you will pack that place.
Yep.
How about merchandise you could only sell during those 3 games?
Oh my God.
And it would only be available like if you went. I mean, people would buy shirts and hats, like even A's fan if it was team neutral, like final days at the A's won their World Series there, right?
Yes.
In '89.
Dude. Okay.
Anyway.
So you were hold on, let me work out the math here. You might have been 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
The quake?
Yep.
Okay.
October 17th, 89.
Yeah. So I was 17, I think. And I will
you are old.
Fuck you.
You're driving that day.
Fuck you. No, I remember not even a week had gone by, and I'm driving down like Wolf Road towards 280 in Sunnyvale, Cupertino area, and there is a dude on the street corner selling bootleg shirts that say at that point it was like Loma Prieta. What was it? 6.9, 7.1?
They changed it. It went from a 7.1 to a 6.8 to a 6. Yeah.
Somewhere there.
High 6s, low 7s. Yeah.
And at that point, how many games had been played? 2.
Yeah, the third game was about to start. Right?
Yeah. So it said Loma Prieta 7.1 or whatever, Giants A's 2, like that as a score, right? And these were bootleg shirts, obviously. And I'm telling you, I am so bummed that I didn't buy one and then put it in a plastic bag and freeze it, for the giggles and for the memories. I mean, I gave you a shirt that Fremont, Cisco Field.
I have that. I'm waiting for the right time when I'm going to wear it to the Howard Terminal groundbreaking. That'll be my choice shirt.
Absolutely. Before we get out of here, you did a video on this. We got to talk about this because this was just amazing earlier today. This scoreboard. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This seemed like. By the way, these photos coming to us from our buddy Sheng Pang and Curtis Pichelka. Are you kidding? This seems like this should have happened, 5 years ago.
Well, in a way, yes, but in a way, you wanted to get the value out of the old one. I think.
Sure.
The old one went in. Was it 07 or 08?
07.
Right about there.
07.
Okay, so the first one then went from 93 to 07. So that's 14 years, right?
Yep.
And then the second one went from 07 to 22. So that's 15 years. Yeah. So I mean, it was right on time. I think the old one was just, first off, it wasn't big when it went in. And it was also a weird aspect ratio. This one is just, I mean, when you see it, this photo is doing it justice in terms of quality and simplicity, right? It's mostly screen, which is very cool. There's no stainless steel parts of it, but yes. I think sheer magnitude is going to blow you away before you realize all the curved parts have screen on it. those two screens on the underside, they are so valuable if you're on the bench or if you are sitting within there you go. If you're sitting within the first 5 rows of either side, you're going to be looking at that more than anything else, which, people say, well, it's unfortunate because you don't get to see the whole thing. But but where you're at, and at that angle, you got to crane your neck up. Yeah, you should be looking at the ice anyway. But you got to crane your neck up so hard to see it. So that's like a first class edition. The first time I'd ever seen that was at, the now crypto.com arena. But the Kings have had, the Kings Staples Center had that, even 10 years ago. And the first time I saw that, I was like, whoa, that is, I think Vancouver also had that. That was another place I noticed early on. They were among the first to have it. And I was like, that is super smart.
To me, I love this, but we also have to kind of preface this is that this is not the final structure. Like this is not the end all be all. Like there could very easily be extra monitors that go underneath this huge scoreboard that actually face the goaltenders, because earlier tonight, Kakinen, told the press, he's like, I looked up, I couldn't see where, how much time was left in the power play.
Right. Well, they're also missing the ribbons there too, right? They're also missing because the
ribbon around the
ribbons
bowl.
The ribbons around the bowl. That's where the primary scoreboards are, and even penalty timers and all that stuff.
But they're going to fix all of that. But they have to have boards that face each, the goalies on each side. Plus, there's actually going to be some extra lighting put on here, because that was another thing that was brought up tonight during the game, that the officials, I believe, towards the end of the first period, had to start going up to the goaltenders, because not only could they not see how much time was left in penalties, but there was some shadowing on the ice because of how obnoxiously huge this board is, which is fantastic.
If that's a problem, then that's a really good problem to have.
It's fantastic.
And that's why, you know what? First off, this design and this implementation, this is a year ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah.
But it is one of those deals where you don't know all the true effects and all the true until it's actually sitting there. So I'm glad they're getting these chances to get everything right. And you are correct that it's only running at
look at
what I was told.
Look at the
was
difference.
Like 70% steam,
Yeah, 70%. But look at that difference.
Oh yeah, I see. I like what you're doing there. I like that.
It's like old board, new board, and it really gives you an idea. Now, the great thing is the Sharks gave us a tour a couple weeks ago where that board was, 6 feet from ground level, ice level, whatever you want to call it. Right. And, you think it looks huge when it's up in the air. Stand next to it.
Right.
Holy crap.
Well, even the old one, they used to bring that thing down when we would skate on the ice in the afternoon, and you're like, it just takes on a whole new life when you're standing like right next to it. But to your point,
but this is
that's the best. Yeah, that's the best example you can give right there, because the old one wasn't tiny by any means.
No,
but that gives you an idea that this one's probably 1.5 times bigger than it.
Yeah,
that is significant.
Oh my God!
If not, I don't think it's double the size, but even at 1.5, like that's extremely noticeable.
When we were in there looking at it, when it was like 6 feet from the ice, the bottom of the main square was almost blue line to blue line.
Right. You're almost like, how's this going to fit up there? Like,
like, did you guys raise the roof to put this thing in? And if you remember if I can go back to the photos here for a second, if you look at this, the version from last year, there were 3 halos. There was one underneath the board, and then there were actually 2 above the board.
Right.
And now it's 1 halo above, but that halo is the same size as the previous 3 all put together.
Yeah.
So
and the cool thing is they'll be able to play videos on all that stuff. I think the screen is the screen, so
no.
Yeah, it's also ready for 4K, I heard. They're not going to do that immediately because I don't think all the cameras are.
It might be more than 4K, I'm just saying.
8K, I know. But you got to get the first off. Look, we have this problem in television. All of our production truck, 4K. problem is transmission, getting it from that truck to our studio, from our studio to your house. That's transmission is the problem. Capturing it in 4K, no problem. Implementing it in 4K, no problem. But transmitting it is, even in your own building, it's a challenge. Bandwidth is at a premium.
Of course. And I have one more question about that, but we have to get to Skylar, who super chat. Thank you so much. San Francisco Bulls facts. Yanni Gourde played 8 games with the Bulls in 12-13. Gourde has won 2 Stanley Cups with the Lightning in 20 and 21. Tell me the Bulls don't matter, Brodie.
I wanted the Bulls to last. I wanted them to matter so bad. Honestly, remember and they had the benefit of the NHL being locked out when they started. It was the only thing around. So
no, bullshit.
What?
Wait a minute. I might have to call bullshit on that.
No, that's 100%. It was 2012. And when they started,
it was the half season.
Yep.
I was going back to like 04-05.
No, remember in the lockout didn't get resolved for I don't know however long it was.
It was 48 games.
But the Bulls started their fall season
You're right.
on schedule when there was no NHL. And so the reason I know that is because me and Randy Hahn sat next to each other and watched the Bulls play their first game.
Oh, were you at the Cow Palace for that game?
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, as was I. It was a great game. Oh, okay. Do you have the shirt and the pin? I still have my shirt and my pin.
I had some stuff at work.
Oh, Jesus
I wish
shit.
I had
Do I need to send you another package?
Bulls care package?
Yeah, another Bulls care pack.
Save that stuff for the museum
for the
that you'll
Sharks
eventually
Museum?
put together. Yeah.
Sharks Museum? Sounds
good.
good.
Yeah. I wish that would have been a thing, but I'm glad that the Barracuda, what the Barracuda are doing, where they're at, that's what's really going to make an impact in the Bay Area now.
I can't tell you how excited I am about TechCU Arena.
Yeah,
First off,
that's huge.
The Barracuda getting their own barn, because it was so silly to see them playing, on a Wednesday night in front of
at a practice rink,
400 fans at SAP. They've got the blackout curtains hanging from the top, and that doesn't even go.
Well, let me just say this. And by the way, in Oakland right now, we have, there's a whole deal with the A's and Howard Terminal, but Oakland is also trying to recruit a WNBA team for the city of Oakland, which I think that is a great idea. The Bay Area
and hold on,
is long overdue, but they want them to play it. What's that?
Why is now? This is not me being an asshole. This is me playing devil's advocate. It is me. Why should a league that can't draw fans expand? I mean, I believe you. My
they draw
wife,
10,000 a game in Seattle.
In Seattle, that's not the Bay Area.
Seattle
doesn't have professional NBA right now. You know what I mean? So it's two different spots.
Here's the deal. Let's not look at attendance. Let's look at
subsidized. It's subsidized by the NBA.
Though. Here's the deal. Capacity versus attendance is the big thing, because my whole thing is, if you can draw 6,000 a game for a WNBA game in Oakland, hypothetically, that's great. Make sure it's in a building that seats 8 or 7 or 6 or whatever, but not old Oracle Arena, Oakland Arena seats 19,000. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I'm using the Barracuda as a prime example of they built a building and they're going to play in a building that is the perfect size for them. It's all the new amenities and the perfect size, and that is what's going to make it successful.
And I totally agree with you, but you're also talking to somebody who has married.
You'll be there?
No. Who has married into a family that has had Stanford women's basketball season tickets for the last 30 years.
Big Tara Vanderveer fans, huh?
Evidently. They're down with Tara Vanderveer, Jane Appel, those two, Nicole Powell.
The Agumake sisters?
Oh, Chene and
Nneka Agumake.
Nneka and Chene. But there was another girl. Oh my God. She set.
Well,
she set the record for their points too. Shit. Can't believe
Here's
that.
the fun
Candace
part.
Wiggins. Candace
I
Wiggins.
could name more Stanford women's basketball players than men's basketball players.
You are correct, sir. As can I.
20 years, honestly.
As can I. But it's
Yeah.
because the family I married into, season ticket holders for the last 30 years, and Maples holds what, conservatively 3,200?
Probably something like that. Yeah.
Conservatively. They rarely sell that out, and they won a national championship a year and a half ago. And they're
College basketball stifles me, though. Like, even Cal right now. When I grew up, it was fun. You go to a game at Harmon Gym, and Cal would play whoever. And I know Jason Kidd and Randy Duck were awesome. Sure. But that was a fun environment. I mean, that place was a total, it was a production. It was a circus. And now I was looking at a Cal basketball attendance, and it was the same building. They've totally done it up, and it's empty almost all the time. Anyway, it's unbelievable.
My point being is, like, if you want to bring WNBA here, that's okay, fine.
What if they get 8,000 a game and their capacity is 8,000 a game? Aren't you pretty happy about that?
Then I'm jacked.
I think that's a huge win.
But where is there an 8,000 capacity arena?
That's my whole point, is that you can't. Well, first off, there's the Henry Kaiser Convention Center, which apparently they're redoing.
Still a thing?
They're redoing it, but right now they're in the middle of redoing it, and they think they're going to turn it into office space at the very end. I'm
surprised it hadn't been turned into that 20 years ago, to be honest.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect for a WNBA arena. The size, the location, all that stuff.
This is going to bake your noodle.
Yeah.
One of the maybe the fifth concert I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
It was Queensryche. Do you have any idea who that band is?
No clue.
Queensryche. You never heard the song Silent Lucidity? Okay.
Nope.
So a group called Queensryche opened for a band called Kiss.
Heard of them.
They wear makeup. I saw Queensryche open for Kiss at the Henry J.
Wow.
In 1984. That is the one and only concert I've ever seen at the Henry J. Like, I'm surprised that building wasn't torn down 30 years ago.
I think it almost was.
It wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, all right. So you're saying that there will be a team that finishes at least worse than the Sharks?
Seattle, Anaheim, do your job.
They have
I'm
a shot.
looking at you.
They have a shot.
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at them. Yeah.
We know how bad Philadelphia, Arizona, Montreal are expected to finish. How do you feel about their chance? Now, take into consideration how screwed over the Sharks have gotten it over their history. Like with the whole Eric Lindros and Pat Falloon thing, up until any time that they've ever been given the opportunity to advance, it seems like they always get stepped on. Do you think that the Sharks have a shot at getting Bedard?
I mean, the way you set it up, you want me to say no.
No, I want you to say yes. I want to be optimistic. Here's the one thing I want to be optimistic about.
We're due.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Let them finish, 23rd, 24th in the league, but then win that damn lottery ticket for once.
Is that going to ultimately? What is that going to do for you?
What is that going to do for me?
Yes. What's it going to do for the team?
2-3 years from now? Imagine down the middle, you've got Bordeleau, Bedard, Eklund. Now, granted, somewhat undersized from the norm, but still, that's a hell of a 1, 2, 3 down the middle. And then and remember, we haven't even mentioned Hurdle. So maybe one of these guys, like an Eklund, could slide to the wing just as Hurdle did when he first came in.
Right.
Bedard is a franchise-changing guy. He's not Connor McDavid, but it's a guy who's going to help build upon all these fun prospects. Again, I go back to Strauss, man. This guy, I think, could be a game changer in 3-4 years. And then you throw Ben Gaudreau behind him. Like, you know, 'cause it's been a while since the days of Kiprasov, Nabby, and Toskala. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Strengthening your pipeline, I would say, is equally as important. Like, you know, you can't just fix the problem on the surface right now. Of, like we were talking about before, you don't have a top six, you don't have a third and fourth line, you don't, whatever. It's got to be some of that. It's got to be a lot of that. Don't get me wrong, but it also has to be that pipeline needs to be coming strong, because that pipeline, for most of the 2010s,
thin.
After Logan came up and after a few more came up, it was like, okay, they're going to rely on the players they have here and any auxiliary pieces they can get, free agents, this and that. There were not a lot of successful call-ups for a significant period of time.
Well,
so.
There was also a stretch, what was it, Ian, 13 to 15, where they drafted 18 players and one of them made it out, and it was a guy who was taken in the 7th.
What was the defenseman who once tripped on the blue line? Mirko Mueller. Thank you. You knew what I was going to say. You know, it's frustrating.
Here's the whole thing. Go and look at Sharks draft history on the blue line between Vlasic and Ferraro, and you will scare the hell out of yourself at how bad it is. Because only 6, they took 27 different players between Vlasic and Ferraro. 6 of them made the show. None of them are on the Sharks today. It's Braun, it's Mueller, it's Jason Demers, it's guys that just didn't make it. I'm sorry.
It's a team in a different situation too, right? Like those Sharks teams, like you use your draft capital to try and improve your team to try and win the silver shiny thing. That's not where they are anymore.
You're Bill.
I like the way you put that. The silver shiny.
You're Bill Guerin. You're Brian Campbell. You know. You made your moves.
Can I just say? Can I end this with the thing that you started it with? What's pissed me off this entire time is that somebody thinks the Sharks broadcasts are 16th in the league,
19th.
Piss off, 19th, whatever. That's so stupid.
You know what? After I hit end,
so dumb.
After I hit end on the broadcast, I'll take you offline for 2 minutes and I'll tell you the real story.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
oh no,
that's what it is.
Oh
All
boy!
Right. So
just remember, I need to be able to sleep peacefully tonight. I don't want to be upset after I.
You won't be upset. You won't be upset. So Ian,
yes, sir.
You still here? That's amazing. Final thoughts. Is there TTG or are we wait until next summer?
Oh no, TTGs. There's plans for TTG. TTG is going to be the Barracuda show.
Nice.
It's just a matter of when.
Okay.
No, I think me and
TTG
Kevin
is going to be the Nick Nolenberger show.
Yeah, I'll just have Nick on, and I'll just kind of turn my mic off, and it'll be fine. No, I think TTG. I want to do one more episode before the season starts. It's just me and Kevin. We're going to do a Barracuda preview. It's just an issue of just making our schedules line up. When that happens, I will let everyone know via the Twitter machine when we're going to do that. But yeah, TTG going forward will be the Barracuda show this season. So look forward to it.
Nice.
Hello. All right. Brodie, feels like you might have a YouTube channel that you might like to promote to the 2 people that are watching right now that don't subscribe to you.
Smash that subscribe button, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's a passion project. So
are you gonna honestly do a separate aviation channel or just keep it all on one channel?
Yeah, I started that, and then last October I put in some time, and then I got away from it. I got busy with baseball, so I will eventually get to that because that content, quite honestly, does better than the sports stuff that I do. It's just more of an appetite for broad topics.
You do something with baseball?
Algorithms are a messed up thing. They really are. You know? I make a video about a microphone that I use, and it's 70,000 people watched it. And then I make some great points about the Sharks, and it's like, hey, 5,000 people saw it. So whatever. No, you know what? I do it because it's a place. It's a platform, and it's a cool platform, and I like the opportunity. So I will keep grinding. Yeah. Also watch the TV shows we do. I should say that while I'm here. That is important. And even if they're 19th in the league or whatever. Bullshit.
Oh, that's all good. What's the guy's Twitter handle again? Doc Brown something?
Yeah, don't follow him.
Oh, okay.
Don't waste your time on that.
All right, and so with that, we thank you very much for joining us. We're going to be back here next Sunday, usual time, 7 p.m. Come and join us because there's going to be some Sharks things to discuss. Oh, nice. Let me let you know. So with that, we thank you very much for spending your Sunday evening with us. Brodie, notwithstanding. Thanks so much. We'll catch you. Follow us on the social. See you next time.